Ange Drake here, jumping on to film the second trimester prenatal exercise considerations. So things are starting to get a little bit more real for you. You've probably told a bunch of people, you're probably showing as well. You've got a little bit of a baby bump that you are carrying around. And by now you're probably starting to be like, okay, I've gotten through my first trimester. I was feeling a bit crap, possibly had to pull a few things back. You might still be feeling a little bit rotten, but hopefully those feelings will start to subside in the coming weeks. But you're probably thinking about, okay, like, is now the time that I need to start monitoring and thinking about what I'm doing? So definitely things like monitoring your blood pressure, which your GP or your OB/GYN will be probably doing on a regular basis. And that's to be making sure that you don't have any issues linked to like preeclampsia or anything like that. If you are experiencing any headaches or dizzy spells, definitely go and get them checked out. You'll definitely be noticing those physical changes. As I said, you'll be starting to feel like your belly is starting to grow, starting to stretch out. And so this is when you might need to start adapting movement. So your core and your pelvic floor will start to be a little bit more under pressure. So you'll need to have a greater level of awareness to be really thinking about how you're engaging your pelvic floor during movements. You want to be thinking like, as your baby grows, thinking about lifting and pulling the baby into your body. Observing that the lower abdominal areas should be thinking about that little bit of a gentle lift and squeeze. Being mindful of movements is also really important. So be thinking about how your body feels on a day-to-day and be really thinking about how you're moving in and out of spaces. So for example, getting up and down off the couch, in and out of bed, up and down off the floor. In terms of adjusting workouts, core exercises should need to start to change in your second trimester because your baby is growing and the abdominal wall is stretching out. And so we want to really start to avoid or back off any flexion-based exercises. And that doesn't mean that you rock around in like, the start of your second trimester and be like, absolutely no flexion-based exercises. It's a gentle regression away from them. Again, it kind of goes back to how many babies you've possibly had. So if this is your first pregnancy, you might start to back off some of those really flexion-based exercises like around week 16 or so. And if this is your second, third, fourth, fifth pregnancy, it might be a few weeks sooner than that. But that doesn't mean you're not doing any core work. You can still be doing a lot of anti-rotation exercises. You could be still doing a lot of work where you're having to brace your abdominal wall. You want to be really thinking about your breathing technique, so continuing that 360-degree breathing. And if you're not sure what that means, please see your coaches. You want to be thinking about thoracic mobility. So that's thoracic mobility as the spine reaches this way, as well as rotation to help manage intra-abdominal pressure effectively. You want to be also possibly thinking about decreasing work that's laying flat on your back. Now, when it comes to needing to incline, it's super interesting here. The theory is that when you're laying completely on the floor without your legs moving, etc., is that the baby will press up against your vena cava and therefore stop venous return, the blood returning back to the heart. Now, this typically is something that I'd probably say you don't need to worry about until you're about 26 weeks pregnant. Having said that, if you are larger or whatever else, it could be something that you're like nervous about. Now, in the second trimester, I'll probably say it's less about the vena cava and the baby cutting off blood supply, which is super extreme. And it's actually more to do with it's not so comfortable laying down on the ground or laying down on a bench and then getting back up safely without having to like basically do a full crunch to get yourself back up. So you might start to opt to do exercises that are incline, to avoid the need to lay on your back and then feeling like kind of like a trapped turtle and then not being able to kind of comfortably get yourself back up to stand. I'll talk a little bit more about that whole vena cava thing in the third trimester, but it's not really something that I'd say you need to be worried about. If you feel faint or dizzy or breathless while you're laying on your back in your second trimester, then definitely like roll over to your side and see if that helps. If you're feeling like that though all the time, again, make sure you see your GP. Make sure you start to manage any signs of discomfort. So any early signs of pelvic girdle pain, should be addressed there and then. Make sure you stop anything that's actually exacerbating those symptoms. Chat to your coach so that we can be giving you restorative exercises that will actually help build strength in your glutes. I've had scenarios where some clients have experienced a little bit of pelvic girdle pain. We've pulled things off, we've changed things around, and then they've been more than fine for the rest of their pregnancy. So it is something with an early intervention you can definitely manage. Just remember that every pregnancy is really unique. So keep thinking about your specific circumstances and what feels good for you. Reach out if you have any questions or concerns. The second trimester is a beautiful time of growth and adapting. So yeah, enjoy every moment, and I can't wait to speak to you all soon in the third trimester video.